You made sure you had dinner that night, but you ruined my night. I didn't ruin your night. You ruined your night. Now you ruined my night. You ruined your night. You ruined my night. You ruined your night. You ruined it. You ruined it. Now you ruined it. No, you ruined it. No, you did. No, you did. You did. You did. You did. Ditto. Ditto. Vice versa. Vice versa. Same. Same? Yeah. Hey everybody, it's me, Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 12, Episode 15, The Reunion Part 2. Let's just get into this. I do not want another hour-long video here, and I'm sure you don't either. So we are picking up exactly where we left off with Part 1, with the little bitch boy huffing off the stage. Teresa says, "I'm not putting him down." Wasn't it you who just said he's a little bitch boy? Sorry. I would hate to see what you do consider putting someone down. So backstage, the bros are all on standby when Joe walks back there. "Hey, what happened, bro? Bro, you all right? What's wrong?" Joe goes, "You know what? My sister's not a sister. And that's terrible." Sorry. Then Louis, with a confused look on his face, said, "No, she's your sister." Oh, sweet Louis. He knows. This isn't the Maury Povich show. The tests prove she is not your sister. So Joe goes, "If you were listening to that, you would know she's not." So all the bros are like, we can't hear what's going on stage, actually. So we weren't. Back out on stage, Andy says to Teresa, "You did put him down, though." He's like, "You're demeaning him by saying, 'What are you even doing here?'" Then Teresa's mouth drops open. Or it was open. I don't know. I can't keep track. So Andy makes Teresa go backstage and get Joe, but she does not want to. She gets up, but you can tell she's like, I don't want to do this. I don't think I owe him an apology, She just had that body language. She's like, "He's my baby brother, and I always kiss his ass, and he's just used to that." Andy goes, "Well, go kiss his ass some more." So she finds him backstage with Joe B. Joe B has gone to follow Joe, and she asks him if he's serious about quitting. And he said, "Yeah, I don't want to be on this show." Teresa swears on mommy and daddy that she's not putting him down. Oh my God. Let them rest in peace already, Teresa. I'm sure when they both died, they thought, finally, I don't have to deal with the kids' drama. Little did they know they'd have Teresa constantly asking for some favor, and now she's trying to get her kids to do the same thing. So good luck, Nona and Nono. It's going to be a long afterlife. Anyway, Joe says to her, "So if Louis goes out there now, he's a bitch?" And Teresa goes, "No, it's not the same thing, Joe. He's got to defend himself from this fucker and his wife." Gesturing to Joe B. "They've been talking about him all season long." And Joe goes, "He's doing that for you, though, right?" Teresa, "Yeah." And Joe goes, "So then he's a bitch." Back out on stage, Melissa points out that her husband is a bitch for getting involved in the girl stuff, yet you've got Louis who's coming after Margaret. And Margaret goes, "Yeah, he said you don't intimidate me on your best day." So they don't understand how that's not being a bitch boy. So Louis now wanders back to where Joe and Teresa and Joe B are. And Joe tells him, "You better stay backstage, bro, because if you go out there to defend Teresa, you're a little bitch boy." Joe huffs off again, and Louis says, "He's the only one dealing with Housewives drama." Teresa, "That's what I'm saying." No, bro, you are Housewives drama. And by the way, can we stop assigning gender to drama? It's sexist, it demeans women, and it's wrong. Also, that drama paid for your 50,000 square foot house, bro. So puzzle on that for a while. I am salty today, people, and I just got started. It's not a good sign. So Teresa said, I'm saying I don't want Joe to get involved in Housewives drama. And Joe says, what, side note, is he in the bathroom? What's happening here? We get this disembodied voice of Joe from somewhere else. You have a sister on the show. You have a fucking wife. Excuse me. Back out on stage, Jackie says to Jennifer, can I say something while Teresa's not out here? Because I think you're a little bit of a different person without her around. Dolo nods her head. She agrees. Oh my God. Side note, tell me Andy has checked out without telling me Andy has checked out. So Jackie says to her, you know, when you get those like soft moments and we form friendships, like I want to be friends with you. Margaret wanted to be friends with you. Then I feel like you come back and you want to hurt me. Oh, look who just woke up. I guess Andy was just told through his earpiece that there's screaming backstage. I have two guesses as to who was screaming, either Joe Gorga or Nona. So backstage, we've got Teresa talking to the bathroom wall. Did he lock himself in? Is that what's happening here? It's so strange. She says to the wall, well, maybe you should tell Margaret to shut the fuck up. Then I wouldn't call you so much a bitch boy. Wait, I thought you said bitch boy wasn't a bad thing. Remember that? You wouldn't give a shit if somebody called Louie a bitch boy.
You would tell Margaret to shut the up. Then I wouldn't call you so much a bitch boy. Playing the Margaret and Joe Benigno talk about Louie should be slapping him upside his head.
Oh my God. She's so tender and sweet. Now Andy arrives and Joe comes out from wherever he had locked himself in. Andy goes, what's going on? Joe, I quit. I'm sick of being called a bitch boy. Andy turns to Teresa now and he goes, can I tell you something? We want him to be here. You two have been living your lives on camera. Believe it or not, we would like to try to get to some resolution here. Maybe. I don't know that Bravo has a real vested interest in creating resolutions, you know? Meanwhile, on stage, Jackie is still pleading with Jennifer. Teresa's always going to be coming after me forever. It doesn't mean you have to. I want that to stop between us. I know your friendship to her is very important, but when she tells you to do something bad to us, just don't. How about that? Jennifer goes, she's not like that when we're out. She just doesn't want you to bring stuff to the forefront, Margaret. Margaret, it was already at the forefront. Then Jennifer goes, you're absolutely right. It was all over the internet. Okay, so what are you saying then? I think when Teresa isn't there, the others start to act rationally. Now Melissa goes backstage to get her husband. Then Andy says to Teresa, so for you to say he's involved in the women's stuff, Teresa, I wish he was more involved. Huh? Then she goes, I wish he would tell Margaret to shut the fuck up. There it is. Okay. Now I understand. It's okay to be involved in the women drama as long as you're doing Teresa's bidding. Joe goes, I don't tell Margaret to shut the fuck up. You don't want to know why? Louie, what have I told you? I told you to talk. Are you hiding anything? Louie's like, no. He goes, no. Joe, no. The first day I met this man, he told me about his freaky camp. He told me about his camp. Are you embarrassed by that? Louie, no. And Joe goes, then talk about it. Shut everybody up. Then Teresa is like a robot that's programmed to say maybe 6 or 8 things at the most. So now somebody hit the button. He doesn't owe Margaret a fucking explanation. And Joe goes, yes, he does. You want to know why? Because he's out there. Andy goes, can I say something? Whether Margaret asked him or not, I would be sitting here at this reunion asking him every question. I'd be like, Louie, I'm reading all this shit about you. I have to ask. Teresa, I'm fine with that. But Margaret supposedly is supposed to be my friend. You get it? Friends don't do that. Sorry, Andy, you're not a friend. And you're also not a woman, so you get a pass anyway. Now Melissa walks in. What's going on? Nothing that needs you, Melissa. To Joe, she goes, don't let her piss you off with all those little comments. Just everybody stop. Be a family. Teresa goes, I'm not pissing him off. Melissa, enough. This is ridiculous. She huffs off. Thanks for coming back, Melissa. Teresa says to Joe, I would never put you down, and you know that. Joe goes, you did twice tonight. She starts to deny it, and Andy gently tells her, he's trying to tell you how he feels, so just listen. Teresa, okay. But she is like visibly uncomfortable. She's shifting her weight from foot to foot, like she wants to jump out of her skin and fight somebody. That's the impression I'm getting. Joe, for 11 years, I want to have a relationship with you. I love you. But you said some nasty things tonight. Just tonight? Teresa, sorry. And then she goes and hugs him. Joe agrees to come back out later with the other bros. And he and Teresa say they don't want to argue with each other anymore. Okay, so now Teresa waddles her way back to the stage. You know, I was going to say that girl cannot walk in heels, but then I just remembered when they were in Oklahoma and she was running. Do you remember how weird her running was?
Teresa gets up early to go running. She's got her bikini fitness competition coming up, and just because she's on vacation, she can't stop exercising. So she gets up to go off running, and her running is very, very odd. She runs almost like she can't bend her knees very much, or like maybe she runs like I would imagine No-No runs. Okay.
So now I don't know what the deal is. Oh, Dolores is FaceTiming with her new beau, Paulie, and Andy asks, oh, let me talk to him. I guess he's from Ireland. He seems really sweet. Andy shows him what Dolores is wearing, and he's like, you get to come home to this. And he's like, I'm punching way above my level here, but I'm happy. Oh, it's nice. I hope he's a good guy. So next we go to Dolores's montage. We learn that Mom Valerie is doing well. She's exercising and she's eating healthy, walking every day, taking care of herself. Andy said, is Frank still living with the kids? Dolores, you know where Frank is living, Andy? With David. Okay. Of course he is. Andy goes, let me get this straight. That house you built with Frank for David, David and Frank are living there now? As lovers? Does Frank have a job? And she's like, yeah, he's building a place to rent. So he's just kind of in between houses right now. So Dolores is living at her house with the kids. That townhouse she was renting, they sold it. So she moved back into her house with the kids. And since she has a boyfriend, she didn't want to live with Frank. Yes. Wasn't it weird that David didn't care that she was that close to Frank? So this is kind of making a lot more sense. Dolores has a normal boyfriend who doesn't want her to live in the same house with her ex-husband. She said she started dating him at the end of the last summer and that all the ladies have met him. Andy asks how they like him. Margaret says she loves him. Teresa said he's great. He asked if Frank liked him, and Dolores said, well, Frank and Paulie haven't seen a lot of each other. What? Very casually, like too casually, Andy said, rumor has it that David is dating one of Louie's exes. Oh my God. I will say this. He's a doctor, so if anybody can quickly stitch up a wound from, say, I don't know, a butcher knife, it would be David. But, geez. Maybe it was David that leaked all the stories about Louie. Ever think of that, Teresa? So Teresa's like, I mean, like, it's not exactly an ex. It was just someone he was talking to 2 months before. 2 months before what? Okay. Dolores said, well, Louis was dating her for 2 months, and then the day he met Teresa, he never called her again. Andy goes, he ghosted this woman for you, and now she's dating David. That is wild. Do you not find that wild, Teresa? She just kind of like mumbles into her boobs and says, I'm going to leave it at that. Huh?
But are they
Do you not
serious?
find that wild, Teresa?
Well,
You do?
I think I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Anyway, back to Dolores. She said she spent too much time on David. Polly is much more into her than David ever was. She spends a lot more time with him. Side note, it's so interesting to me that during this whole segment, which is kind of lighthearted and, it's about Dolores meeting a nice guy, that Jennifer and Dolores, who are sitting right next to each other, we established that last week, are kind of smiling, laughing, talking to each other. Didn't Dolores say in part 1 she will never be friends with Jennifer? Guys, see, this is why I don't know what to believe. Did these two forget they were mortal enemies, or are they playing a part for us? It's a good reminder to me, and probably to all of us, that we should never become more invested in these ladies and their relationships than they are. And we need to just take it as entertainment. Andy asked Dolores, how's Polly going to be like with the cameras and everything? And she said, well, Auntie, does anybody want to walk into this and get destroyed? We know what we signed up for. Teresa, wow, not necessarily always getting destroyed, unless other people try to destroy him. Margaret, nobody destroy him. Teresa, you didn't destroy him, but you tried. Margaret, no one tried to destroy him. Andy moves on. Teresa, Rihanna recently said that your parenting style really resonated with her. What does that mean to you? Teresa goes, it shows that people know I'm a good mom. Then we get a kids montage and we get updates on all the kids. Dolores' daughter Gabby has the same boyfriend, but she works 6 days a week, so she's committed to that and never goes out and parties. Frankie Jr. is single right now. Ladies, Melissa said that she hasn't given her boys the sex talk yet, and Antonia is doing much, much better. She loves her new house, and she's got 2 sets of friends. Margaret says that between her and Joe, they have 6 children, and only one of those relationships is strained right now. Margaret got some backlash in the press for telling Jennifer that kids are resilient after she outed their father's affair. Margaret says she meant it to be supportive, but it didn't land well. Teresa was partying on a yacht in Miami for Gia's 21st birthday. She said it was fun, and of course she got mommy to pay for it. And Gia is still dating her guy. Andy says, Gia was skeptical about Louis at first. Was it because of the things she was reading? Teresa, no, it's because he was the first guy I dated after their father. Then Andy goes, well, she said as much on the show. We get a flashback.
She said it in one of the episodes.
I was very skeptical.
Because of things that you were hearing.
Yeah.
And Teresa goes, oh, well, because Margaret put it out there. That's it. Again, someone pushed the button that said Margaret put it out there, because Andy talked to her backstage and told her that if Margaret had never said anything, I would be putting it out there today and asking Louis these questions. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The narrative in her head is all my problems all Louis' problems right now are because of Margaret. That's it. Like, she has such a one-track mind. Is it like a Pavlovian response? Is Louis in the back with a bell or a whistle that only dogs can hear? Margaret, wow. Wow. Just wow. Andy goes, it was blasted out before the show even aired. Teresa, but nobody knows about it, Andy. He just said it was blasted out. Andy goes, I knew about it. Then Jennifer, Teresa, your best buddy, said the ex-girlfriends put it out there. And Andy goes, yeah, those exes want to bury this guy. And this is how Teresa responds. I couldn't even make a joke that would be better than her actual real response.
Right. These exes want to bury this guy.
No, it's because he's with Teresa Giudice. He's dating Teresa Giudice. That's why. Okay, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Wow. He's dating Teresa. That's why this is happening.
I know.
Okay, back from the break, we get Jackie's montage. And, we talk a lot about her anorexia nervosa. She tells us she has come a long way. She says she's eating normally and she's like out of the danger zone, but she still struggles with like living in a different body. And Andy said, "Have you gained weight?" And she said, "Thank you for asking. Yes, I have. I feel like it's very obvious." My therapist put it to me this way. She said, if you had a child who was malnourished, you'd want them to grow out of their clothes. So the conversation gets very emotional for Jackie. Margaret talks about the progress she's seen in Jackie and how proud she is of her. Then there's a viewer question. Jackie, with all your struggles with food and body image, it must have been very frustrating for you to hear Teresa fat shame Margaret. Jackie said, "I don't think anyone should be fat shamed ever." And Jennifer goes, "You tweeted something about if you watch what you eat, you don't need to get lipo every week." First of all, really, Jennifer? Like, is this the stand you want to take? Defending Teresa for fat shaming Margaret? And second, the clip that Bravo just showed at the softball game, that's not even really fat shaming. I'm going to nitpick here because this was about Teresa being pissed off that she wasn't wearing her leggings and helping to promote her brand. Honestly, her saying that her butt is jiggling in those, but they wouldn't jiggle in mine is... I hate to defend Teresa, but I think she truly meant that more like, my leggings will hold you in nice and tight. Now, the comment she made in Nashville about Margaret never missing a meal, that was fat shaming. Okay, well, now they just showed that clip, so I could have just waited a second, I guess. Teresa says about the Nashville one, "Well, I take that back. Sorry about that. But about my leggings, I structured them to make your ass look amazing." I structured them. Oh, I bet you were in the lab for months with that one, Teresa. Coming up with the right formula, the right material. Anyway, Margaret goes, "You insulted me twice." Teresa goes, "Sorry if you took it that way." Margaret goes, "The whole world took it that way." Again with the whole world. Ladies, settle your egos down slightly. The whole world doesn't watch this show. I can count on one hand the number of people in my real life that watch any of the Housewives at all. One of my sisters doesn't even get Bravo. So Teresa goes, "That's not what I was trying to say. You made sure you had dinner that night, but you ruined my night." Margaret, "I didn't ruin your night. You ruined your night." "Now you ruined my night." "You ruined your night." "You ruined my night." "You ruined your night." "You ruined it." "You ruined it." "No, you ruined it." "No, you ruined it."
No, you did.
"No, you did."
You did.
"You did."
You
"You
did.
did."
Ditto.
"Ditto."
Vice versa.
"Vice versa."
Same.
"Same?"
Yeah.
So while Andy says, "We're talking about eating disorders, people," Teresa pulls out, "You're a digger." Margaret, "I'm not a digger. You're a digger. I don't have to dig." Teresa,
Oh, yeah, 'cause it comes right to you, right on your lap.
Margaret screams, "No, it comes right on the internet." Andy, "We're not talking about this right now." Yeah, ladies, we're saving that for part 3. He says to Teresa, "You understand how those comments could land wrong." Teresa,
Yeah. Wasn't trying to fat shame her. I'm not stupid.
I mean, it's interesting for her to say, "I'm not stupid." Like, I would fat shame her in private if nobody would ever find out about it. But I'm not going to do it on camera. I'm not stupid. Like, she didn't say I wasn't fat shaming her. I would never do that. No, she just said, "I'm not stupid." I just think it's interesting. So Margaret said, "Branding 101. That was not the best move." Teresa,
You think you know everything. Shut the fuck up.
well, after a much needed break, we come back and talk about Jennifer. There's a viewer question about all her plastic surgery. Do you think it's too much? And she said, no, I mean, I had 5 children, so a tummy tuck, and I breastfed, so a boob lift, and just the nose job. I mean, I think I earned that. And I guess there was a question like, are you ever going to stop? And she goes, I'm done. There's nothing left to do, Andy. Then we move on to Bill's affair. Andy said, was Bill mad at you because you didn't deny it or because now he had to deal with it? Jennifer, he wasn't mad. He didn't tell me anything or say anything about it. I did all the talking. He felt like there were no words that could justify it. I mean, you know, he's right about that, but could have been an apology in there maybe. She said she was mad at Bill, but she forgave him. And yes, she was mad at Margaret for bringing it to light. And she forgave her. Margaret said people already knew about it before Jennifer even got on the show. Someone said this girl's coming on, her husband's a doctor, and he was screwing around with someone in his office. Andy said, something I've heard in the 16 years that we've been doing Housewives, if you have something to hide, don't go on a reality show. Jennifer said she and Bill knew that it could come out, but they both agreed to deny it, like, for the kids. Then Andy kind of asks everybody about an affair. Is that the end of a marriage? Melissa said she thinks she probably would have done it like Jennifer did. Andy asks then for like a show of hands, how many think infidelity equals the end of a marriage? Teresa and Jackie, I think, were the only ones that raised their hand. Then there's a viewer question for Melissa. How can you still say that Jennifer is fake after this season? Because obviously, you know, she came clean with the affair. Melissa goes, honestly, I think it's been her starting that with me, constantly saying I'm fake. And then to Jennifer, she goes, I mean, it was you that started that with us, right? Is that fair to say? Andy goes, you said crooked. Then Jennifer says, can we talk about the crooked for a few minutes? And Andy goes, a few minutes? Oh yeah, Jennifer, reaching behind her chair. I'll talk fast, Andy. Pulls out these oversized texts, like printed at Kinko's on cardboard. Andy goes, this is like a TED Talk. Oh my God. You guys, she has a picture of herself the day after her nose job. So, of course, she's bandaged her, you know, she's got like 2 black eyes and all that. And then she says, I was attacked. And she holds this picture up. What? Andy goes, not your face. Your face wasn't attacked. Melissa goes, oh my God. She wants us to look at her elective surgery and feel sorry for her. And Jennifer goes, true. And I don't give a so... I kind of love her. I know that's so wrong. There's something about like her just, I don't know. God. Anyway, so we move on to Margaret making jokes about cheating with Joe and Jennifer calling her and Marge Sr. whores. Then a viewer question comes in and says, Margaret, you called Jennifer a concubine and her sister-in-law a mail order bride. Margaret, of course, says she was joking, but Jennifer didn't think it was funny. Jennifer said, I was worried about my brother and my family. I just thought it was disrespectful. Melissa goes, what is going on? We're supposed to care about hurt feelings of a family member, yet you called her mother a whore. Am I the only one with sense here? Oh God, I hope not. Melissa Gorga, voice of reason? That's not okay. Viewer question. Jennifer, why do you hate the woman who cheats and give your husband a pass? Jennifer, I love my husband. I don't love the other woman. Teresa's like, yeah. That would resonate with you. You hate women. Jennifer, I didn't blame her. I blamed them both. And Margaret goes, you called the pharmaceutical company and you got her fired. Jennifer goes, oh, now that I would do it again. Honey. Margaret goes, Bill should go on to have an illustrious career, but not her. And you know why? Because she's a woman. And that's what upsets me. Jennifer, oh, do not make this a woman thing. If he fucked a guy, I would do the same thing to the guy. Margaret goes, you know what you could have said to me when we first met? We could have bonded over this. Jennifer goes, I couldn't be your friend. I didn't trust you because I knew what you brought to the table. Margaret said, I made up with you genuinely. And you So this is bleeped out, and it's like, and you blanked and blank, and it looks like, and you fucked in and that doesn't make sense. So I'm just going to have to move on from that one. Dolores says to Margaret, look what happens when you become her friend. And Margaret said, you go on the after show and say sick. Then we get a little clip of the after show.
My issue with her wasn't so much that she cheated, is that she was so vocal about it. Remember when you had to go home and wash my stench off you? That is fucking taboo on every level. Shut the up.
The way she speaks to her husband.
Degrading.
And then there's just a whole bunch of crosstalk, and Andy's yelling, stop, 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 stop. And he gets up and he screams, you're all talking, so shut up. They do, finally. Dolores looks frightened, and that's where part 2 ends. Crazy. And you know, part 3, we're going to be grilling Louis. Oh, come on. We all know it's going to be wildly unsatisfying, right? He's going to lie, and then no one's going to follow up with anything, so. But regardless, I will be here recapping every moment of it. I hope you guys join me next week. I hope you liked this recap. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. I'll see you next week with the next recap of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Bye.